Hello, my name is Gil Merritt. I am a local artist here in Rochester, New York. I work under the name Chenille Macabre, Truly Twisted Pipe Cleaners, meaning that my main medium is pipe cleaners, and I make dragons, zombies, monsters, articulated miniatures, and figures. They are posable, they are painted. Pipe cleaners are the base of each figure, and then I add acrylic paint, felt, and fun foam to the finished piece. I make established characters, such as from comic books and video games. I make my own creations, and I also take custom requests, which I've done a lot of. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I actually grew up north of Pittsburgh. And I won the Art Recognition Award in high school. And I went to Rochester Institute of Technology under the illustration major with a minor in language communication. And my professors liked my illustration work, but they wanted me to continue with the pipe cleaner work because they hadn't seen anything like that before. Not a lot of people had. I was experimenting with it. I am completely self-taught. I mean, this was before the internet, so no one really knew who else was doing it. Some people dabbled with it, but it was around the time of college that I started using the mixed media of illustration. That they said, don't stick with pencils, use gouache, use other materials. So I started doing that myself. Huge inspirations for me include Mad Magazine got me rolling, actually. I was reading that. I also enjoyed Monty Python. Another big influence on me was Alice Cooper. I saw him on The Muppet Show, and that shaped everything. That just told me everything I needed to know in life. I saw Alice Cooper, and I said, I want to be that guy, the frightening guy amongst all the cute little monsters. And so that's kind of my art style, is cute but scary. The Dragon was a piece done for the National Museum of Play. It was their Monsters and Magic exhibit. The Dragon has about 600 pipe cleaners in it, and its wingspan is about 5 feet long. Amputheatre is the world's goriest board game. It is a survival horror melee combat tabletop board game for up to 6 players. And the game uses figures about 3 3/4 scale, I'm going to say, and their heads and arms are removable. And you move them like chess pieces into combat with each other. Dice are used to determine each combat result, and every character has a myriad of basic attacks and special abilities. Like I have an evil rabbit character named Jingle Bunny. He carries a chainsaw that looks like a duck. He's got very good grapples and takedowns, but his special abilities include blowing soap bubbles that are made with a riot control agent. And I have a sadomasochist named Malice. She has glass jutting out of her body, and she throws the glass at opponents, or she can pull a giant sword out of her back and swing that to hit people. And the premise is they all want a full government pardon. They're all criminals locked in a prison arena to fight to the death. That's the death sentence that they've all been served. So they all use whatever tactics they can. No holds are barred. And the arena has features of its own, such as traps like giant spinning circular saws and fire pits. You can kick people into them and they'll be set on fire. They'll run around randomly. You can blind people so they can't see you, and they'll run randomly. And every time damage is done, blood flies all over the board. It uses splatter dice to send blood flying in impossible trajectories. Amputheatre allows people to jump into the game. Amputheatre is not particularly designed to be nice to people. There's nothing quite like beating somebody down with a sliver of your health left and having a new character come up behind you and punch you to death. So people can jump in. It's a loose game. The focus was on the combat itself and making that as robust yet easy to grasp as I could. There was going to be a game called Thrill Kill for the PlayStation 1 back in 1997-98, and it was going to be a 4-player fighting game. Most fighting games only had martial arts stereotypes. This one had frightening characters like a doctor with a bear trap for a face, a dominatrix who used a cattle prod, and a man in a straitjacket who headbutted and kicked people. So the game was about to be released by Virgin Interactive, and then 2 days before it was supposed to be released, EA came in and bought Virgin Interactive and all their properties. And they saw Thrill Kill and they said, we're not releasing this. We're not releasing it. This is disgusting. We're not releasing it. And I was very angry about that. And so I kept waiting for EA to come to its senses. And I thought, you know what, I want to make my own bloody game, and I'm not going to let EA stop me. I'm not going to let anybody stop me. So I thought I would make a board game, because I knew I could do that with my own figures, because I did dabble in a little bit of wargaming miniatures. I always wanted to make my own wargaming, and I tried to build dragons and sell those to gaming stores, and they're like, I don't think we can use these. These aren't in the right scale. So I decided I'd make my own scale of game. I was playing HeroClix. To the uninitiated, it's a miniatures superhero game. And you get to play as Spider-Man or Batman, and you have little dials and you move them around. But it's not visceral, it's not immersive, because comic books are all about in-your-face and dramatic camera angles. And so when you're seeing tiny Spider-Man on a table just inching his way like you're in a blimp watching this fight, it did nothing for me. Whereas horror films are all about getting the camera up close and in tight, and so I wanted my game to be up close and personal. So I made larger figures, and I wanted them to lose arms and heads when they fought, and I wanted blood to fly all over the arena. I wanted to make this as gory as Thrill Kill, and I wanted to make this as shocking as possible. And the larger scale of figures meant that it was easier for dismemberment. And when you sever an arm, you can see it on the field. It's not this little tiny, and it's not marked with a flag. The arm actually does pull out of the figure, and it can be picked up and grafted onto another figure, or the other figure can hit the poor guy who lost his arm with his arm. I would love this game to be on shelves. Right now, it has a permanent place here in Rochester, New York, as a homemade, homegrown, independent game with a cult following. And I've made so many figures over the years. We've got at least 70, I want to say 70 or 80 characters off the top of my head. 40 or 50 keep coming back, and they're all popular with my crowd, and they're all famous here in the gaming area of upstate New York. It's made me a lot of friends. Its artwork, its style and approach is taking a non-serious tack on gaming, since everybody can get killed at any moment and people just jump in. I think it takes a lot of the over-serious bite of gaming out of it, and so I would really like this on shelves, and then once it's on shelves, I would love to make a charity system for this game and just have portions of sales going to human rights organizations, because I don't want to. I mean, yes, you can talk about all this violence and all this horror and all this, but it'd be great to do something about it and just throw some money towards some good people to make sure this doesn't happen again.